There we go. That was weird. I had to turn it off and then turn it back on, or at least mute and unmute it. But hello, and welcome back to another BeefTube Twitch stream. It is Wednesday, and I don't know if you noticed, but I have some kind of stream schedule now. Naturally, I set it for 9 p.m. because that seems to be the time of the evening that works best. But then I also had a slight delay of about 26 minutes behind here. But nevertheless, check out the stream schedule. It's got one game that is officially on the schedule, and that is going to be on Wednesdays, and that's going to be the playthrough game, like the game that we on this channel are playing through together. And currently that playthrough game is The Life and Suffering of Sir Brante. Once we're done with this, I have ideas about what game will come next. However, that won't be a thing until after we are done here with this game. But then there's also, I don't remember exactly what it was that I had set there, but there's like FPS Friday, I think, so first person shooter Fridays and tactical Tuesdays, which I don't know, kind of sounds like the same thing, but we'll see how it goes. I think what it was is I just wanted to keep one like super vague, because not all first person shooters are tactical. But yeah, give me 1 second here. I actually did not get set at all, despite being 25 minutes behind schedule. But that's all right. It doesn't take very much to get squared away. Got my pack of gum here at my desk already. All right. I'll try not to be as tired as I feel right now. There is also, I don't know, there might be an early morning stream tomorrow. That's because I have been looking at like the research and data and stuff like that from Twitch to maybe consider what game to stream next to hopefully bring in a few more viewers into our community. And not only is it important to know what game people want to watch, but it's important to know when people are watching said game. And I have a pretty good idea, so I'm not sure. We'll see how tired I am tomorrow morning too. But anyway, moving on. A rock and a hard place. The Brante home has been uneasy for several months now. With father traveling all over the province for his judicial duties, the animosity between Stefan and Gloria has grown into a full-blown feud. Your elder brother tries to use his position as heir to keep his sister in check and make her behave in accordance with her estate. Gloria repudiates his authority. Their fights rock the house on a daily basis. Eventually, after returning from his latest trip, Father gathers Stefan, Gloria, Nathan, and you in his office. His somber look portends a difficult conversation. Stefan gazes at his father defiantly. Gloria is poised to lash out and run away. Nathan quietly keeps to the side. Okay, let's slide this down a little bit. Nope. Children, For a long time now, our family has been striving to become nobles of the sword. Every noble member of the Brante family will gain a hereditary title. This is your grandfather's dying wish. Gloria sighs loudly. Then why am I here, Sir Robert? She's right. This is a Brante matter. Wait until I finish, Stefan. I am still the head of this household. If you are truly so concerned about honor, show your father some respect. It can't be helped. Not all of us are noble. But now we must be united as never before. We must work together to protect the reputation and wealth of this family. But you, Stefan, perpetually humiliate Gloria. Father, all I'm trying to do is put her in her place. You know perfectly well the consequences of any attention Gloria might attract. Our every step is being observed. The nobles will make pariahs of our family for all eternity if they remember Gloria's filthy origins and your reckless marriage to Lydia. Father turns red in the face, but with considerable effort, he remains composed. That is so. Our grandfather did everything in his power to remedy your mistakes. Please, Father, don't repeat them. Gloria speaks up. I'm just trying to live, Sir Robert, but Stefan wants to lock me in a cage so nobody will ever lay eyes on me. That's not it at all. You're lowborn, but you don't live by your lot. You do whatever takes your fancy. You're constantly grumbling about the order of things. Did you know, Father, that she defies all prohibitions by continuing to write poetry? As far as you're concerned, anyone who contradicts you is an insurgent. When will you grasp the idea that you may not argue with a nobleman? I'm the heir of this family, and my word is your law. Purple with rage, Father slams his fist on the table. It is rare to see him so furious. Both your elder brother and sister instantly fall silent. Frightened, Nathan shrinks into a corner. Hold your tongues, both of you. Let Beef speak. He has witnessed your quarrels. He should know best which of you is in the right. And why can't I do this? Oh, because we're too poor. That and Gloria doesn't like me enough. Dang it! I missed it by 1 point. I hate that. Appeal to Nathan. So both of these would have to be met. I'd have to have really high theology on top of good relations with Nathan. Okay, where were we at last time with my relationship with Stefan? I think I recall where it was with Gloria, but okay, so he's +2. Gloria's +1. Anyway, alright. Let's get back to where we were, please. Ah, yes. This is a tough one. Tough one indeed. Because I don't think I can actually balance the two of them. I'm pretty sure if I try to balance out my relationship between the two of them, they're both A, gonna be not very good, and B, the game is gonna bring me to a crossroads deliberately to where I have to choose with no return. But, you know, Gloria is a member of this family as well. You turn to Stefan abruptly and point your finger at him. It's no wonder Gloria fights back so fiercely. Stefan torments and chastises her incessantly. If your older brother stops smothering every impulse Gloria has, she won't resist so viciously, which is a very good point. You're a family, after all, not a pack of wild animals, where the strong dominate the weak. Are you blaming me for her escapades, Beef? Me, who selflessly harbors to preserve our family name? This is outrageous. Father, will you really heed to his advice? Purple with rage, Stefan clenches his fists. Father rises from his seat, eyeing his eldest son gloomily. Beef is right. Stefan, you have overstepped your bounds. I took Gloria into my house, so you, my son, must respect her and be considerate of her. Your origins do not give you the right to put such pressure on your sister. I don't know why he's addressing this now. We're all, adults. Like, it's a little late. Stefan should have been raised with the understanding, but I guess that's where the grandfather kind of stripped her away from all of that, or stripped him away from all that. Stefan rushes out of the office and slams the door behind him. Gloria cannot conceal her joy upon hearing you and Father chastise Stefan. The little tyrant, that'll teach him that what goes around comes around. I hope he leaves me be from now on. Whoa. Look, we're not necessarily picking sides. We're just trying to set things on a path where it's sustainable. Soon rumors start circulating in Anazat high society suggesting that you are orchestrating a plot against Stefan, the legitimate heir of the family. That is not true. It is not hard to guess who started those rumors. Now the entire city knows that there is trouble in the Brante household. Great. Tarnished honor. That's the statistic that I was not meaning to ignore there. I was aware that it needed to be safeguarded, but I forgot. It is the morning of a very sultry day, and you are back at the office. You are beginning to get used to the duties of your new profession. Father visits you on the job now and then to see your progress and provide advice. But by now, he is confident you can handle the work on your own. Today is your first case, assigned by the prefect himself. From the comfort of your chair, you go through the facts and circumstances of the case. The matter seems simple at first. Seeking some desperately needed financial gain, a noble from the less than wealthy El Avia family rented out a sizable portion of his estate to a well-off commoner by the name of Basil Young. All the rent payments are in order, and there is plenty of time left before the lease is set to expire. But the commoner built a large dye works on the estate, and then El Avila suddenly filed a case with the prefecture to evict him. The rental agreement specifically states that the commoner Young has the right to construct any building on the land. The noble landowner, however, thinks that he has the final say on any construction since the land belongs to him. Basil Young, on the other hand, has refused to vacate the rented land since the term of the agreement has not expired. Both parties are to appear at the prefecture to hear your decision. The litigant, Sir El Avia, enters first. He is an aging noble who dresses far too colorfully for his years. He walks into your office with confidence and sits in front of you. The next man to enter is Basil Young, a heavy-set man with a thick beard, clothed in an old jacket and clutching a hat. He stands by your desk and bows to you. Sir El Avia does not hesitate to speak first. Your Honor, I demand you drive the commoner Young from my land. His dye works is a noisy, nasty, ugly building, and I refuse to have it on my property. My family already had to endure their warehouses and their filthy workers right by our own estate, but this is simply beyond the pale. Either the court says the dye works must be demolished, or I, Gustav Elavia, will do it myself. You ask Sir Elavia to compose himself and tell the commoner to give his statement. Basil Young gives his account, speaking in a deep, gruff bass. Your Honor, it cost me all my money to build the dye works. The contract says it clear. I got the right to build anything on the land during my rental period, and Sir Avia didn't say a word at first, but now he up and demands we demolish it. My family will be ruined. That's not gonna happen, I say. Sir Elavia screams at him in return, outraged by what he calls his cunning trickery. The bearded Basil Young disagrees again and again, his pudgy finger pointing at the clause in the statement. It is noon already, the sun is so hot, even the air itself seems to melt away. This is your first case ever. It is time to deliver your verdict. Okay. I mean, it's pretty clear cut, right? That Elavia is pulling a dirtbag move on his tenant, right? Because in the contract it says that he's allowed to build whatever he wants, and if really it's Elavia's fault for not having a better contract, you know, you can't just he's gonna have to wait until that lease is up before, you know what I mean? That's just all fairness. However, that being said, my family's honor is kind of on the rocks, right? But I guess this is where the easy pitfall comes into play here, because the way I see it is, right, is that I can protect my family's honor and their reputation, rather, by siding with the other nobles easily, right? And I'll be able to work on my family relations without having to worry about that aspect so much, and it might be easier to actually balance it out and have a good outcome. However, my reputation as a judge would be hurt, and also I'd be setting a precedence for the nobility to treat their commoner tenants like shit. Well, sorry. I think that's like the first time I've cussed streaming this game so far, but I mean, that's really what it boils down to. And it's like, do I sacrifice my reputation that I have wanted for the greater good this entire time for the sake of bonding my family together in a positive light before the eyes of the other nobility? Because look, if the other nobles like you, it doesn't matter what what her origins are, right? They're gonna overlook anything, because just like they expect me to overlook their laws, the commoners' laws, they'll overlook the strife that's dividing my family currently. I don't know, that's a tough one. That's really a tough one. And my skill wasn't good enough to go any other route, not yet anyway, because my diplomacy is decent. It's just not super high like it should have been, well, could have been, for the terminate the rental agreement, which is what I definitely would have done, just to avoid having to actually choose a side. I will confirm that Basil Young had the right to construct the dye works on the rented land. I think even though Elavia, obviously, they're nobles by the sword rather than the mantle, and they might actually, I don't know. It's all just so ugly. I see this protecting Jung's rights thing, though, as possibly something that could help the wealth of the family. We'll see. But, you know, integrity and virtue comes at a steep price. You deliver your verdict. As the rental agreement clearly states, Basil Jung has the right to use the aforementioned lands belonging to the Elavia family until the year 1150, and construct any buildings on the aforementioned lands. Basil Jung's use of the land is not in violation of the agreement, and therefore, he must not be evicted, and the dye works will remain. Any attempt to drive him off or demolish the building will constitute a breach of law. You know, just come up with a better contract next time, pal. How dare you? This is my own land, and I can do whatever I want with it. It is my right. I can rent it out, and I can take it back just the same. And your puny little papers mean nothing to me. If you refuse to resolve this peacefully, Your Honor, why, I'll just put the damn dye works to the torch. Okay, well, like I said, you'll just go to jail. I mean, it's your land, right? And you can do whatever you want. And in this case, you chose to rent it out with a very vague contract. And that's your fault. It's your fault. You're still doing whatever you want with it. You just didn't know that you were doing what you didn't want. It's not my problem. It's not the court's problem either. You have a response to that. If Jung's property should come to harm through Elavia's actions, the nobleman will provide recompense for all damages and pay a fine to the emperor. The law of the empire is the emperor's rule. Nobles and commoners alike must obey the law in equal measure. Your words are tactful but unyielding. The nobleman has no chance. His face pale with rage, Sir Elavia spits out a goodbye through clenched teeth and walks away. Thank you so much for your just verdict, Sir Brante. I never even hoped you would protect my rights after all. Now the Dye Works is gonna hit it big. Look, man. I don't necessarily care that much. So order is -1. Alright, cool. It just dipped into discontent, which is okay. I see now that I am actually playing a role on the larger scale of things as a judge. Wealth of Magra is got a nice little cushion into affluence, which means that next time we should probably make sure we're investing in order. The other judges soon learn of your verdict. With your very first case, you have caused quite a stir at the prefecture. Most judges would not have even deigned to hear the commoner's statement. Yet you defied noble privilege and enforced a lawful agreement against the nobleman, an ill omen for the other nobles. Look, start getting smarter. My career took a hit. My justice, man. The Archduke and the Overseer. Two powerful lords have been struggling for power in Magra for over 2 years now. The new overseer of the province, Gaius Tempest, cannot seem to rein in the obstinate spirit of Archduke Tarquinius Melanitis. Unwilling to accept that he is no longer the overseer of Magra, the Archduke still stubbornly continues to assert his right to rule the province. Most of the Magran gentry, who swore allegiance to him generations ago, remain loyal to him even now. Gaius Tempest has publicly demanded that the Archduke recognize the overseer's rule as legitimate. I am the voice and the will of Emperor Uther II in the province of Magra. All lands, deeds, and titles notwithstanding, Archduke Melanitis must obey his sovereign's will and heed his decree. I hereby extend to the Archduke an offer of peace. Should the Archduke seize his insubordination, his lands, deeds, and titles shall remain his own. The Archduke's response to the overseer was openly defiant. Since the days of yore, the land of Magra has belonged to the Melanitis dynasty. We are part of the empire, and we are the emperor's loyal servants. However, our dynasty will not stand for such intrusion upon our lawful rights and privileges. Never before has an archduke been stripped of his right to represent the emperor's rule in his own province. So do not forget, Sir Overseer, that the highest noble families of Magra have sworn fealty to me alone. Neither the Archduke nor the Overseer will relent, but both are too powerful to be readily disposed of. The bad blood between the two Archnians has festered for too long, and the common people have begun to pay the price for their strife. Stripped of the Overseer's tax privileges, the Archduke Melanitis has decided to impose his own levy upon the citizens and villagers of Magra. The commoners are now forced to pay taxes twice, first to the Overseer and then to the Archduke. This double burden is too much for the common people of Magra to bear. Many have refused the second tax outright as a lawless measure, but the Imperial Legion, led by the young Dorius Oton, is ruthless. Eagerly and without mercy, the Legion soldiers collect the Archduke's due in cities and villages alike. So Dorius Oton, he's probably doing everything he can. I mean, he's obviously aligned with the Melanitis family pretty closely. Me and Dorius don't necessarily get along. He just doesn't realize how much we don't get along, I think. You know what I mean? that whole situation is probably only going to get worse when it comes to the Melanitis girl. The Archduke and the Overseer. Both of Magra dropped by 1. Great, so all my hard work. Order dropped another 1, and power, struggle for power is now at 0. So, struggle for power. It's like dead center at 0. Order needs some improvement, for sure, though. This last year has been an ordeal for your family. The pains taken to be ennobled by the sword, the close attention of the city aristocracy, the squabbles between Stefan and Gloria. Tonight, your preoccupied father has gathered the entire family around a table in the backyard. The sun is almost set, and there is a soft breeze, but instead of a meal in the open air, you're going to attend a family meeting. In the middle of the table, you see an open gilded box. It is full of jewels. Archduke Melanitis himself has bestowed this gift upon us. It is a surprise indeed. I thought you all had the right to know. Father unfolds a letter lying beside the box. Sir Robert Brante, I bestow this precious box upon you and your family as a symbol of the care with which I treat the people of my province. Pray accept this gift, and remember with whom the loyalty of the true nobles of Magra lies. Archduke of Magra, Tarquinius of the Melanitis. The family stares in amazement at the jewels sparkling in the last rays of sunshine. So this guy's levying a second taxes just so he can send nobles boxes of jewels and letters to kiss their butts. It's worth quite a fortune, but the Archduke is fully aware that I am on the side of Prefect Alborn and Overseer Gaius Tempest. Could he really expect our loyalty to be bought so brazenly? On the other hand, the Archduke is not demanding anything from us, and our family has borne a lot of expenses recently. Father, no one is forcing you to side with Melanitis. Who are we in comparison to the Archduke anyway? We must not anger him by refusing his gift. The jewels are certainly welcome. They are worthy of being shared with the best families of Anazat. They will pave our way to the nobility of the sword. Mother shakes her head glumly. Oh, Robert, I have a feeling this gift bodes ill. It may be an impertinence on my part, but I do not want our family to be indebted to the Archduke. Certainly not. Accepting gifts from Melanitis? He's infamous for oppressing the commoners and robbing villages blind with his taxes. Yeah, we all knew how Gloria was gonna feel. This isn't your decision, Gloria. It is a matter of our family's honor and reputation. I have to back Stefan up on this one, honestly. It's part of that balance. Please don't start bickering again. Let Beef say what he thinks we should do with this gift. Thanks, Nathan. You're the center of attention now. Your vote will be the deciding factor. Oh, come on. We're gonna sell those jewels. I mean, come on. Why not? A gift for the family. You speak. You insist that the Archduke's jewels should not be declined, but they must not be given away either. Your family treasury needs an infusion of cash. The family's wealth is as important in the eyes of society as its noble reputation. Very true. I don't know, Beef. Money comes and goes, but our family honor is here to stay. Yeah, but you know, also to be honest, I couldn't choose the other choice. Not that I would have. You object, reminding him that in your own lifetime, the family has already fallen out of favor and risen again. For the nobles, the family's reputation is just another form of currency. Very true. Is there truly nothing more important than money and reputation? Nope. Archduke Melanitis is a villain like no other. Our family ought to stay away from him. Simmer down, Gloria. I agree with Beef. Let it be so. I'll send a note to the Archduke expressing our humblest gratitude, but I'll also point out that I don't mean to change sides. I still serve my prefect and my overseer. In the meantime, Beef will see to the family coffers. You promptly take the precious box and go inside to start taking an inventory of the jewels. Mother, Gloria, and Nathan follow you with forlorn looks. You sell the jewels and easily amass a considerable sum. Your efforts have now ensured that the family treasury will not run short anytime soon. Ooh, nice. Straight to affluence. We gotta stop these disagreements, though. We need to work on some unity, but hopefully we can spend some money in the future, because we, in theory, could have sent Gloria on a trip and that would have helped. But we didn't have enough money. But see, now we can fix decisions like that. Power of the law. You have just completed your first year of service at the prefecture. Several days after your second year begins, there is a knock at the door. You look up from your paperwork and tell the visitor to come in. Sir Elborn's secretary slips inside quietly. The prefect has an important matter to discuss with you in his office. Augustin Elborn looks weary and aged, but he greets you with his usual characteristic warmth. You take a seat in the comfortable chair across from him. Sir Elborn asks his secretary to pour you and him some wine. Sir Brante, good to see you. I hope the judge's trade is coming easily to you now. I must admit, I've been watching your first cases closely. You have already had to resolve a rather difficult land dispute between a commoner and a noble. We will see even more litigation of this kind in our province in the future. Now it's time for you to answer an important question. In this great dispute between the two estates, where will you stand as a judge? Take a look around you. Life in the Empire as we know it is changing. It is our duty as nobles and judges to make peace between all the estates on the basis of the law. However, the prefecture faces a great hindrance in its pursuit of this goal. Many nobles are still determined to abide only by the traditions of old, especially the Arcanians. For those nobles, the only law above them is the Court of Honor, where noble ranks and duels decide everything. They reject the jurisdiction of the prefecture and outright defy the newer laws and regulations of the Empire. This is to say nothing of what happens when an Arcanian has a dispute with a human commoner. Some Arcanians would rather cut a human down then and there than waste time on what they see as pointless litigation, even though the law says that all the Emperor's subjects have the right to a fair and just trial. One of the most flagrant violators of the law is Dorius Oton, the commander of our province's military. You've encountered him before, haven't you? That Arcanian nobleman is a notorious duelist. Anyone who crosses his path risks insulting his honor. His sword has ended the lives of many human nobles, not to mention all the commoners who have been unlucky enough to run afoul of him when he was bored. Surely you realize, Brante, that we are the people, that we are the only ones who can protect those people. The lowborn lot forbids a commoner to arm himself. And even those who would rather defy their lot have no chance against Dorius Oton, one of the most skilled Arcanian swordmasters. Oton cannot be allowed to commit murder with impunity. We have to stop him and all the others who act as he does. Imperial law must prevail over their barbarous traditions. But as of now, I have no authority to put Oton on trial. Our province still abides by the old traditions, and humans are powerless against the dynastic powers of the Arcanian aristocracy. Putting an Arcanian on trial for his crimes would be unthinkable at best. We have to work gradually to change this, Brante. I need you as an ally. What we have to do is strengthen the power of Imperial law in Magra, so that eventually everyone will respect the law, from humble beggars to highborn Arcanians. We must show everyone that the law is not a noble instrument of oppression against the common folk. Like the divine law, Imperial law must stand above all, with no regard for birth, rank, or title. I always liked Augustin Elborn. He always seemed like a pretty level-headed guy. And so far, I'm agreeing a lot with him right now. This is why I have decided to address you today, Beef Brante. Side with the law. Side with your father and myself. Side with justice in every case always, no matter who stands trial before you, be they lowly commoner or noble elite. With enough precedence, we will put an end to highborn tyranny and ensure that the law is respected throughout the province. But I must warn you, even here at the prefecture, I am not all powerful. Many judges oppose my point of view, not openly, at least not yet, but I am certain they will work against us in the shadows. Now, Brante, what is your answer? Are you ready to side with me and change our province for the better? Are you prepared to support me against the high-handed gentry and defend the common folk from the likes of Dorius Oton? Easy choice. So you got to remember, so far throughout this entire playthrough, there was one thing that we always are willing to die for, right? And that is liberty and equality, right? Nobility, we were willing to die for that, but that's because that was a part of the plan. You know, we knew we had to be ennobled and become a judge in order to actually have an effective stance, an effective position to make the changes that we wanted. So, you know, hey, work against us as they may. It's true death or, you know, liberty or death. You nod energetically, determined to support Elborn and bring nobles and Archnians under the rule of imperial law. You realize the risks, but for the future of the Empire and its subjects, you are willing to face them. You seal the promise with a handshake. The prefect leans back in his big chair and points at the glasses full of wine. I never doubted you, Brante. With your potential and youthful zeal, nothing will stop us. And now, a toast to the triumph of law and Magra. Your glasses clink melodically. The prefect takes a sip, then puts the glass down to instruct you further. Remember to be cautious. Between the powerful nobles and many other judges at the prefecture, there will be no shortage of enemies on this path. There will be times when I will be unable to help you. My own position is too unstable as it is, so please do not draw too much of their ire. Letting their wrath reach you is the last thing I want. Last but not least, we mustn't be hasty. If we move too fast and enforce the law against the nobles too soon, they might take up their swords as they have before. We have to prevent an uprising and avert bloodshed. At all times, be just, but also wise and alert. I'm glad to see you on the side of justice. I'm counting on you, and you can count on me in return, Beef Brante. May luck be with you in service to the Empire. You return to your office, your desk covered with endless paperwork as always. At first glance, nothing has changed, but now you realize the great and important cause working quietly behind your daily grind. Deep in thought, you sit at the desk once again. What fate awaits you in service to this cause? So I promised Elborn. Alright. +2 relations. Cool. So that is, I think he's a good guy to side with. Not only because his beliefs align with mine a lot, but also, he's putting the Empire first, right? But for the sake of equality, you know, because while the Chancellor is not friendly to the cause right now, his brother is, and you know, at first I was trying to think of how they were kind of turning everyone against each other, because the whole like theory that I have of like the Malanitis family being powerful enough to actually challenge the Imperial, the Tempest family, but then the Tempests themselves are all for equality and the Malanitis just want power. But at the same time, the Malanitis family has the power to challenge the other families that reside within the Tempest court, i.e. the Chancellor. I can't remember their family name, but the other Archnians, right? So there's a problem there of where it's kind of a gray zone. It's like they shouldn't be fighting each other, but that's how I believe the Chancellor wanted to play it. He wants to play them against each other because he knows neither of them align with him, and I know for a fact that Chancellor is our enemy. Not necessarily the Emperor, the Chancellor. Can't remember his name. It was the guy who tried to shut down the college on testing day. So I almost didn't get admitted because he thinks that commoners shouldn't be able to be ennobled by the mantle. He thinks humans should not be nobles. Sounds creepy. An old friend. Night is falling over Anazat. The stifling heat waves give way to an eagerly anticipated freshness. After a day at work, you stroll home at a leisurely pace. You turn down a side street that you have known since you were a little boy. It is as if your legs are acting of their own accord, bringing you to the place of your childhood play, the remnants of the wooden fort. So much has changed since the days when you used to play here with your little friends. There's another drawing of Bob eating a rat. Engrossed in your memories, at first you failed to notice that you are not alone here. A tall figure in the uniform of a Legion officer approaches you. You see unruly brown hair and a twinkle in his eye. It is Thomas. Now that's a surprise. Hi, Brante. Fancy running into you the moment I'm back in town. Your childhood friend puts his arms around you. Our battalion got transferred here recently. We're under the command of the Magra Legion now. I'm keeping the peace and maintaining order in my very own province. Well, why don't we catch up? Let me buy you dinner. We'll have a little chat. Remember the old days. Thomas cuts himself short. You suddenly notice how much older he looks. His face has become sharper and rougher, and his eyes are filled with exhaustion rather than their usual mischievous sparkle. Yeah, the army will do that to you. I should warn you though, Beef. I ain't the best company nowadays. I've managed to get myself some powerful enemies already. I'm a friend who could taint your good name, so if you'd rather not be seen with me, well, I understand. The smile on his face starts to fade. I wasn't, not that I would have selected this, but I was just curious as to why it wouldn't let me, and it says because we're bound by friendship that we cannot. You and Thomas parted ways long ago. His fate is no longer like yours. Have dinner with Thomas. You aren't about to miss a chance to spend some time with your old friend, no matter what kind of danger he's in. One big factor in this is that Thomas and Dorius Otan, do not get along. So, if anything, this guy might be my inside man to convicting Otan. Which I still have to think about if that's the best decision. You give Thomas your hand. You shake hands firmly. So you haven't forgotten your old friend, Brante. That's the way it ought to be. Well, come on then. You go to the tavern, reminiscing about your childhood antics on these very streets along the way. You choose a table in the far corner of the tavern. Thomas orders a bottle of good wine and some food. You talk about your latest case, about your first years back in Anazat. You share family news, your quest to become nobles of the sword, the quarrels between your older brother and sister, your mother's health. Thomas nods with concern. Sounds like you've had some tough times. Your family has always been different. Mine, on the other hand, is the same as it ever was. My pa is always in his workshop and my ma's always doing chores. But look at me. I came home a service class nobleman. Although it doesn't bring me much joy anymore. Thomas is suddenly grim. You ask your old friend to share his troubles with you. He quickly glances around the room and lowers his voice. Well, I'm a captain in the Magran Legion now. And who's our commander? His Excellency Dorius Otan. That's right. I serve under the very same Archnian whose toes I stepped on back in Eterna. And you better believe he remembers me. I'm afraid things are gonna end real bad. Yeah, I figured as much, Thomas. But hey, I'll figure it out somehow. Don't trouble yourself over it. Apart from that, well, it's the usual service. We impose order in uppity towns and villages, protect the province, that sort of thing. And we run drills all day long, obviously. If only you knew how sick I am of them. Of them barracks, Beef. I've thought about starting a family. My ma keeps telling me to find a nice girl to marry. She says it's high time I got hitched. It is completely dark. Ooh, Mary Gloria. Wait, he can't. Wait, can he? Anyway, she's available, dude. I'm just saying. It is completely dark. And you're still talking. Finally, Thomas remembers that his parents are waiting for him. You get up from the table, leaving some dirty dishes and quite a few empty bottles behind. On your way out, you catch a glimpse of a nondescript figure following you to the door. As you walk alongside Thomas through your home neighborhood, you keep glancing over your shoulder, but the shadow that was following you has disappeared. Strange. You reach your street and stop for a while in this semi-darkness between your family homes, just as you used to all those years ago. Bye, Brante. I hardly ever come to Anazat these days. Our battalion is always on the march all over the province. But twins willing, we'll see each other again real soon. You advise your friend to safeguard his every life. Daggone! We've got to stop that. That is dangerously low. Your first year at the prefecture has come to an end. You are not a young student anymore. You know now that a judge's trade means so much more than knowing the law and carrying it out. Resolving a litigation of any importance requires striking a balance between the code of law, high society's opinion, and the whims of the provincial powers that be. Your second year is beginning, and it feels much tougher already. Trampled by the nobles, the commoners seek help, and so they turn to the law. They turn to you. The carriage takes you through the silver district of Anazat. It is early morning, and you have just received a letter bearing the seal of the city hall. Remy L. Vermin, the magistrate of Magra himself, wishes to see you at once. The mere sight of the magistrate's invitation is enough to make you scowl. This is no doubt about your newest case regarding the Quorum Gazette, which may spell trouble for everyone involved. The provincial legislature, the Lesser Quorum, governs the volume and distribution of taxes in Magra. After a new law created by the Emperor's own brother Cornelius Tempest several years ago, commoners of considerable wealth were granted representation on the Quorum on par with the nobility, thus forming the Lesser Quorum. Now the representatives of the lowly estate have founded a newspaper of their own, and this Quorum Gazette, distributed all across Anazat, fervently argues for commoners' rights in provincial governance. The man behind the newspaper is Mayor Egmont, a well-off industrialist and owner of several silver mines, and it is his article and his demands that brought about this litigation. You take out a newspaper and read Egmont's article printed within. It addresses Imperial Overseer Gaius Tempest directly. We demand that Sir Overseer Gaius Tempest cease his habitual disregard for our meetings. From our Emperor Uther II, we receive the lawful right to assemble and sit in the Lesser Quorum, and we say to the Overseer, our voice must be heard, our message must be accepted. The carriage stops in a square by a luxurious building. This is the city hall where Imperial officials manage all domestic and economic matters of Anazat. You are escorted up a long, winding staircase to the door of the magistrate's office. You now stand before Remy L. Vermin. The magistrate maintains a haughty bearing in spite of his venerable age. His face bears the sharp, proud features so common among the old aristocracy. Ah yes, Sir Judge. You are from the Brante family, I believe. I appreciate your prompt arrival. I'd rather not waste your time and get right down to business. The matter for which I called you here is urgent indeed. You are judging a case against that newspaper by the Lesser Quorum, are you not? I've had a torrent of complaints against it from the most venerable members of the Quorum. They say Mayor Egmont has insulted Gaius Tempest, our overseer, and an Archnian from the Emperor's own great dynasty. And I say they're absolutely right. The Empire gave those uppity commoners a hand in managing the province's very well-being, which is already a violation of their lowly lot. But no, that wasn't enough for them, it seems. You've earned the mantle only recently, Sir Brante, but you must realize that this is an affront to the honor of the entire nobility. I expect you to do your duty as a judge and immediately find a pretext for shutting down their pathetic gazette. Elborn, your prefect, might think you otherwise. However, Sir Brante, if you exercise enough wisdom and cunning, I am certain you will realize which position is beneficial to you. With your youth and potential, it'll do you good to have powerful friends on your side. I'm sure you will reach Alright, let's relax. I'm sure you will reach the only appropriate and just verdict when closing this case, and I hope you will be duly judicious. For now, farewell. You return to the prefecture lost in thought. Sir L. Vermin is right. Your word is all it will take to shut the Lesser Quorum newspaper down. As a judge and a nobleman, you do not even need a reason. The people running the Gazette are mere commoners, no matter how wealthy they might be. There was no breach of law, however. Mayor Egmont's article simply requested that the Overseer of Magra hear what the Lesser Quorum has to say. You can reject the nobility's complaints, and thus show the commoners they may rely on the prefecture's justice. But Sir L. Vermin and many fellow judges will be outraged. Father learns that the case has been assigned to you. He visits you and offers some advice. You're in quite a predicament now, son. If you try to appease one party, the other will be furious. Wouldn't you rather see if there's any way to make peace between them? We could host a party at our estate and invite both Mayor Egmont and the noble elders from the Quorum.
If you are successful at diffusing their quarrel, no one would object if you decide to legitimize the Quorum Gazette. Even El Vermin won't be against it if the nobles stop complaining. However, Father is not your only visitor of note that day. Shortly after the door closes behind him, the familiar face of Judge Carlo Falkengraven appears in your office. He looks around cautiously before speaking his mind. I hear you've been ordered to deal with that newspaper run by wealthy commoners. It's a complicated case indeed. If you ask me, work like that deserves to be rewarded. Why not make the most of it? You're quite close to Prefect Elborn, are you not? Almost related, as it were. What if you were to shut down the paper and seize their printing press? All it would take is Sir Prefect's signature. And my friends among the Quorum nobles, why, they would use the Gazette of their own. I would be delighted to help you put that printing press in good hands. Just think of it. You would shut down a subversive periodical and help your esteemed nobles spread their message. All while earning a lucrative reward for your efforts. It's quite a coup, really. Everyone wins. Do think on it, Brante. He leaves you and you are left alone in your office to deliberate. If you decide to shut down the Gazette, how far should you go? And if you choose to legitimize the periodical, how will you go about it? So because of a lack of diplomacy, which has now hurt me a whopping 3 times in this stream alone, yeah, that sucks. So the party is not an option. Elborn is not going to like me for this. But 2 factors that I need, right? I need to develop a bulletproof degree of wealth for the family. And also, I need to increase our reputation among the nobility. We could just simply shut down the Gazette. But if I go about seizing the actual printing press, I stand to make a little bit of money, but also probably angering Elborn a little bit. But I think I can do that. It's a bit of a gamble, but Elborn really likes me right now, so I have a little bit of leeway here. You decide to follow Judge Falkengraven's cunning plan. You and your family could come out of this tricky case better off, and Magistrate Elvermin will not be disappointed. However, this plan requires discretion. The fewer people learn about the seizure of the print shop, the better. You draft a property seizure order against Mayor Egmont, the owner of the Gazette, and present it to Prefect Elborn to be signed. Did I see this right? You think it necessary to shut down the newspaper and seize Egmont's property too? But you have an answer ready. The Lesser Quorum's newspaper is an affront to the senior nobles and a threat to the peace in the province, which is true. Now, it's not, whatever. Now is not the time to incite more tension between the estates. But if all you do is ban the Gazette, you add, Egmont will quickly repurpose the press and spread their message in other ways. Very well, Brante. I trust your judgment. I hope you know what you're doing. A squad of gendarmes in tow, you set off to search Egmont's print shop. You find the printing press, the movable type, the frames and the inks, and confiscate them. The owner of the Gazette, Mayor Egmont, is quick to arrive. He looks almost like a nobleman. Egmont is well groomed and wears expensive clothing only a wealthy industrialist could afford. Nevertheless, his rough manner of speaking and boorish posture betray his humble origins. You've got quite the nerve, Sir Brante. You have the right to ban the newspaper, but this print shop is my property. I bought it with money I earned with my own 2 hands. Instead of an answer, you coldly present him with an order signed by Prefect Elborn. I see. So the law and the prefecture have no justice for the common folk. But you, Sir Brante, how long have you been a noble yourself? Did you already forget how it feels to be under somebody else's thumb all the time? Let me tell you, the times are changing. They won't be silenced so easily. All the fuming industrialists can do is watch the gendarmes load his printing press onto a cart and take it away. Once the matter of the print shop is settled, you pay Carlo Falkengraven a visit. Most expertly done, Brante. I shall present the printing press to the nobles of the quorum post haste. They will handle the newspaper initiative from here on out. This act has not gone unnoticed. The noble quorum owes your family a great debt. I've already made the arrangements. Your family will not have to pay the Archduke's taxes for 2 years. This is a great honor. Only nobles of the sword are exempt from taxation. Fake it till you make it. Elborn soon learns of the shady deal you have made. Brante, I hear you've already repurposed the confiscated printing press. This is a dangerous game you're playing. Some might consider it an abuse of your position as judge. I will not tolerate such scheming in the future. Fair enough. -2. Indeed, many people at the prefecture consider your actions unworthy of a judge, and the outraged commoners of the lesser quorum have lost faith in the justice system. Nevertheless, the arrangement has earned your family new privileges, which means more money for the Brontes and much improved standing with the nobility. Okay. We're alright. This reputation situation is really what I was mostly worried about. Yeah, we'll probably be able to play it a little bit smarter in the near future. The Call of the Ancestors. Today is a big day for the Brante family, the day your family line started, the day when you remember all your ancestors. Tonight, everyone who bears the name Brante must descend into the family crypt to keep vigil by the tombs. This is the time to surrender yourself to your ancestors and hear their will. The entire family prepares for the event in silence. Stefan has been choosing his apparel since morning, praying anxiously under his breath all the while. The heir has a special place in the family vigil. Even Mother is planning to go with you, though Father tries to talk her out of it. Lydia, I beg of you, stay home. You are far too weak for an all-night vigil in the crypt. Gloria, would you be so kind as to stay with your mother since you cannot join us anyway? Gloria answers in a muffled voice. As you wish, Sir Robert. The late Sir Gregor would only be enraged to see Mother there. We all remember how their last encounter ended. Father nods curtly, avoiding Gloria's gaze. But at that moment, your attention is drawn to the noise in the foyer. Nathan staggers through the door, stumbling over his own feet. He reeks of cheap wine and filth. I'm not, late, am I? Everyone gazes at him in consternation. Nathan almost falls into Mother's and Gloria's arms. Distressed, they fuss over him. Stefan eyes his youngest brother coldly. I expect nothing more of you, Nathan. Why even speak of duty to your family when you can't even manage to live by the commoner's law? Go lie down in the pantry and stay out of our sight. Father, Beef, it's time. Let's go. Alongside Father and Stefan, you descend into the family crypt. You cannot help but remember paying your last respects to your grandfather 9 years ago. You light the lamps. Dim, eerie flames illuminate the shrine. In the middle of it stands a magnificent stone tomb containing the long-decayed remains of Gregor Brante. You take your places around the crypt and kneel. The all-night vigil has begun. At first, your ancestors remain silent. Each of you is left with their own thoughts. Then a low murmur passes around you. The shadows in the corners of the room deepen. The voices grow stronger. You know that the ancestors of Gregor Brante, long-forgotten commoners, whom you never knew, are trying to talk to you. But now a memory of them has come to life in the darkness of the crypt. They are pleading for something, demanding it of you, calling out to you, screaming. Finally, you all hear that painfully familiar, deep, imperious voice echo from the far end of the chamber. It's been a long time since I've seen you all. I hope you bear good tidings. All this time, I've been waiting for you to fulfill my mission. Remember, as long as I'm in your blood, I will give you no peace. He's not in my blood. I guess he is, but I did not have a family ennobled just to see our line cut short. Our blood tide must join the grand flow of the empire, and then each of my descendants will inherit nobility forever and ever. But I do not see any of you before my tomb. Where are you hiding? Where is the head of our family, the man who will speak to me? Where is the man who will heed my will? Father rises from his knees to make his way towards grandfather's stone tomb, the source of that booming voice. But Stefan suddenly pushes him out of the way. Father takes an indignant step forward, but Stefan firmly bars the way. Stop it, Stefan. You are my heir, but you are not the head of this family. Father, it is not you that Sir Gregor is addressing. Earning the nobility of the sword is my duty to him. He has long forsaken any hope of seeing you achieve it. You must understand that I am the one who will fulfill that duty. Stefan does not let him pass. Father breathes heavily in anger. You can all but feel the frantic beating of both their hearts resonating somewhere within you. Both your father and brother seem to have forgotten that you are here too. Even the restless voices of your ancestors have grown hushed, waiting for the outcome of this confrontation. Let's take a look at the family tree here. Alright. I agree with Stefan, honestly, because, yeah, it was definitely Gregor's idea. You walk up to Father and gently put a hand on his shoulder. Let Stefan talk to Grandfather. This is what our ancestor wishes. There is no reason to oppose him. Father lowers his head and steps to the side. Stefan approaches your grandfather's tomb, his fists clenched tight. Stefan, I've always known that if anyone will lead the Brante family to glory, it will be my grandson. Sir Gregor, we are closer to becoming nobles of the sword than ever before. The Overseer looks upon us with favor. Give us but a couple more years and your dream will come true. My dream, Stefan? It is the great cause of anyone who bears the name of Brante. Earning us a place in eternity is your duty to your blood, just as it is my duty to look out for you even from beyond the grave. Your father's follies have become a veritable threat, and I must help you overcome it. You still cater to those foundlings, Lydia and Gloria, risking a permanent blemish upon the Brante name, my name. But you are but a step away from leading our family to shame and ruin. Stefan, you are the heir of this family. Do not take after your spineless father. Do what must be done. Cleanse our family of wickedness. Stefan is suddenly shivering. You have never seen your older brother like this before. He replies to his ancestor in an unsteady voice. But Gloria, I can't. Do you dare hesitate? Dead though I may be, my will lives on, and you are the embodiment of this will in the realm of the living. Stefan checks himself. I will do my duty to my family, Sir Gregor. Whatever the price, I will pay it. The crypt is completely silent once more. You are alone again. You see tears glistening on Stefan's face. He suddenly clasps you in his arms. I hope you really do understand me, Beef. This is the burden I must bear, but I do not wish harm to come to anyone who lives under our roof. I will find a solution that is best for all of us. While your brother holds you firm in his embrace, you hear a sorrowful sigh from Father. You watch as his lone, hunched figure walks up the stairs. The vigil is over. I need to get that diplomacy stat up. It needs to be like at a 12. Sitting at 9 now. This chapter's stressful. It's probably the easier one. Egmont's speech. Just a few days into the year, Mayor Egmont, chairman of the Lesser Quorum and owner of several silver mines, made a speech that caused quite a stir in the province. Though a commoner, Egmont had the gall to demand that the Magran authorities both enforce and obey imperial law. What's the use of the imperial laws if they aren't enforced as they should be? Even today, any Anizot nobleman who gets up on the wrong side of the bed can draw his sword and run a commoner through with impunity. These gentlemen may be our rulers, but does that mean that they can defy the Emperor's will? Sir Elborn has been appointed to enforce the rule of law in Magra. How come the prefect doesn't see this? We commoners aren't trying to seize the noble lot and take over the province, but the rule of tradition is a thing of the past. This is the age of justice. We may not all be equal in its eyes, but even the nobles and clergy must obey the law. The modern aristocracy is furious with Egmont and demands that he be silenced, but the rich industrialist has too much money and too many connections to be dealt with so easily. You hear more and more rumors about secret societies of commoners appearing in the city, plotting against noble rule. The gentry fears that Egmont and his peers might be behind this, but they have no proof, at least for now. Father Leonard, abbot of the Temple of the Silver Tree and leader of the New Believers, supports Egmont and has spoken publicly in his favor. The twins themselves entrusted the noble estate with the right to rule over the common folk, but rulers must also care for their subjects. The old faith is mistaken. No commoner should ever be forced to suffer. It is for this very reason that the imperial law exists. It is there to ease the people's suffering. May those laws be duly enforced, and may they serve all the people of the empire. Like that one? I thought it was good. We're to -4. Roll to Magra. -4. Or -1. And power. Struggle for power. It is another day at the prefecture. The vassal and the lord. The secretary peeks into your office with a message from the prefect. There is a new case he wishes you to handle. You put away your quill and walk to Sir Elborn's office. To your surprise, he happens to have another visitor already. There is a graceful figure sitting across from your immediate superior, none other than Octavia Melanitis. Hi. Boo. What's up? After all the times you have met her in the capital, you expected the Archduke's daughter to be brilliantly, lavishly dressed, but her appearance today is modest and formal, with a high-necked dress and a strict bun. However, her demure attire only serves to emphasize her role as a distinguished visitor to the prefecture. You bow to the prefect and the noble Archnean lady. Octavia offers you a curt greeting, then returns to the conversation you have interrupted. Water. It's what's in your blood, or something. This matter can brook no delay. Baron Elborn, the young judge may well wait outside. Nonetheless, Sir Elborn insists that you come in and take a seat. Worry not, Brante. You aren't interrupting anything at all. Lady Melanitis has scheduled to meet with Sir Brante at this very hour. I regret to inform you that your visit was perhaps somewhat unfortunately timed. Octavia rises from the soft, high-backed chair. The young Archnean lady now stands tall, elegant, and indignant. You are out of line, Sir Elborn. Archduke Melanitis has graced you with a representative from his dynasty, and you will listen to what I have to say this instant. The Archduke has expressed concern over your manner of governance at the prefecture. You have always been headstrong and eager to infringe upon the freedoms of your own noble estate. But now it appears you find it acceptable to conduct proceedings against our own loyal subjects. Our dynasty has already seen many loyal nobles of the sword arrested or faced with punishment in court. Where will this lead? Do you mean to enforce your lowly laws against us Archneans? Do not forget that those laws are written to keep low-born humans in check. Our lives have always been governed by noble honor and tradition, as well as the blood tide that is our heritage. Our only justice is the court of honor. The only rule above us is that our sovereign, the Emperor, and the twins. Okay. Our only duty is to our kin and our forefathers. My ancestor, Char Melanitis himself, granted the boon of nobility to you humans. It would be most unwise to make me regret this decision of old. In the name of Archduke Melanitis, I demand that you end any and all proceedings against our subjects at once. Sir Elborn acknowledges Lady Octavia's vehement speech with a calm smile, and nothing else. He shows no trepidation, no tremor, nor fear, even though the lady across from him represents one of the Empire's mightiest dynasties. Lady Melanitis, the twins have graced the blessed Archnean lineage with the boon of long life, yet the world can be quick to change at times. The laws of the Empire now govern the nobles of the mantle, and even the nobles of the sword, along with the common estate. This particular change is not as recent as it might seem. The laws of the Empire are the decrees of the Emperor himself. the twins' chosen supreme sovereign. His laws are his will, which is, as you said yourself, the only rule above us, and that means all of us, from a highborn Archnian to the lowliest commoner. Presently, the Emperor's representative in our province is Overseer Gaius Tempest. Like this prefecture in its entirety, I am simply obeying the Overseer's will and the laws of the Empire. Then pray tell me, Baron Elborn, who is your own sovereign and protector? He is none other than my father, Archduke Melanitis. You swore him an oath of fealty and vassalage. It is your duty to follow his word and his will. Or do you wish for the Archduke himself to address you directly? I tell you, cease this harassment of our loyal noble subjects at once. I will not leave until this order is carried out. Why, Lady Melanitis, I am afraid that this is quite impossible. As a servant of the Empire and Imperial Overseer Gaius Tempest, it is my duty to enforce the law. Now, if you will excuse me, Sir Brante and I have urgent matters to discuss. The gaze of the Archduke's daughter is locked with the prefect in a silent struggle. Each expects the other to back down first, but then Octavia suddenly turns towards you. But I believe the young judge has more in him than blind obedience. Surely you are able to distinguish a rightful claimant from a threat to the province, are you not? Silence resounds within the prefect's office. They are both waiting for you to speak. Why does my diplomacy suck so much? It's a tough one. It's really not, actually. It's just it's a tough pill to swallow, is what it is. Easy decision. Tough to accept, I guess. I'm gonna support Elborn, because at the end of the day, the Melanitis family they are subject to the rule of the Emperor, right? Just like anybody else. So if the Emperor deemed it fit to put his brother as the overseer of Magra, then, you know, the Archduke has to accept that. I don't know how, like, I'm the head of the law of the land right now by making these decisions, but I'm gonna support Elborn on this. You engage in the argument and respectfully mention that your business with the prefect is urgent indeed. There are many issues that need to be resolved with Sir Elborn. You begin listening to them one after another to prove your point. Octavia's face grows dark. She shakes her elegant head in indignation. What a shame, Brante, seeing you eating out of this visionless gentleman's hand. And I hoped you were bold enough to have an opinion of your own. It seems my ancestor Melanitis was mistaken after all. Humans will never realize what it means to be a noble and live in honor. As for you, Sir Elborn, the Melanitis dynasty will continue this conversation whether you like it or not. I'm afraid our next meeting will not be as innocuous as today's. Octavia rises from her seat, elegantly yet quickly. A moment later, you hear her high heels clacking away in the corridor. Sir Elborn sighs with relief. Thank you for showing her what you're made of, Beef. I appreciate your loyalty to the cause. The Prefecture and the Archduke are about to enter a full-blown war. It is a pleasure to see a reliable judge on my side. Archduke Melanitis is testing the Prefecture with his daughter. Otherwise, he'd have asked me to visit his palace personally. He's showing caution, which means we will stand strong, at least for now. We will continue our service to the law without regard for the outmoded ways of the past. But I digress. This is high politics, and the Prefecture still has plenty of cases to resolve. Let's get back to our work, Judge Brante. With that, Elborn hands you a new case file. You thank the Baron and head back to your office to study it properly. It's time to get back to work. Okay. Okay. Unexpected outcomes. Passion. The repercussions of your most recent encounter with the Archduke's daughter, Octavia, soon manifest themselves. A letter bearing the seal of the great dynasty of Melanitis arrives the next day. Inside the envelope, you find an invitation to Castle Serpenverde, the Archduke's residence. Visiting the Archduke of Magra himself is a great honor. To decline such an invitation would be an insult of colossal magnitude. You immediately purchase a new doublet in the latest fashion and ask Father to lend you a precious family brooch. It depicts the Brante family crest, and the leaves on the oak branch are made of tiny emeralds. Octavia should find it to her liking. Your family cannot help but notice your preparations. Mother watches nervously as you make sure everything is ready for your journey. This odd invitation has me worried, my son. Be careful in the Archduke's castle. You're still of low-born origin. Arachnean attention spells danger to people like us every time. Remember not to displease them, or the Melanitises will grind our family into dust. Come early morning, the carriage takes you away from the border walls of Anazat. It takes you a full day to reach Serpenverde along the dusty, sun-scorched high road. While on the road, you read notes of Arachnean tradition and rules of etiquette again and again. To preserve your family's honor, you must make the best possible impression. The provincial powers that will be watching your every step, and so will Octavia with her cunning grin. Only as the sun is about to set do you manage to spot the dark, colossal shape of Castle Serpenverde, a towering fortification of jet-black stone spread across a peak looming over the bed of a long-gone river. The carriage climbs the narrow, serpentine road to the castle gate. Soldiers of the Archduke's guard approach you, and you present them with the invitation. The guards eye you with suspicion, but give the signal to open the gate. You are now inside the walls of the Archduke's castle. You had expected to see many carriages of other guests beyond the gate, but the courtyard is strangely empty. I'm gonna be murdered, aren't I? The guards show you to a servant who guides you to a room reserved for guests and leaves you there to wait. The servant soon returns, and you follow him through the dimly lit corridors of Serpenverde, lavishly adorned with silver, emeralds, and weapons of war. The castle is silent. There is no noise, no music. It seems completely uninhabited. The sound of your footsteps is smothered by the soft velvet beneath your feet. The servant stops in front of a pair of massive doors made of black wood. This is your destination, he gestures silently. You enter an enormous room, its walls covered in portraits and ancestral relics. In the very center of the room is a towering throne carved of black wood. Upon the throne you see the delicate silhouette of Octavia Melanitis, clad in a black velvet dress embroidered in silver. With a commanding gesture, the Arachnean lady bids you approach. So something to think about here. There's a lot of silver adorning everything. There's silver in the castle decorations. There's silver on Octavia's dress. And what do we know silver does? It inhibits magic. Is the Melanitis family a bunch of spellcasters? You're here at last. Are you surprised, Beef? How odd. You didn't think my father would actually summon you to an Arachnean castle, did you? Or are you truly that naive? How sweet of you. No, it was I who summoned you here. You are alone in the castle. Portraits cover the walls. Portraits of Arachneans with dark eyes and jet black hair. They all resemble birds of prey, and their eyes seem to watch you with contempt that makes you uneasy. Allow me to introduce you to my family. Family, this is a human by the name of Brante. What do you think of him, Father? She casts a defiant glance at the portrait of the Archduke Melanitis. Then she removes a glove from her hand and casts it as well. It hits the great Archduke right in the nose. Octavia laughs at that. In the tall walls, innumerable portraits echo her voice. Baffled, you ask Lady Melanitis why she has summoned you. Because you have caught my attention. I noticed you, even when you were somewhat younger than you are now. And then I started seeing you again and again. I've caught myself thinking about you quite often, and so I've decided that I wish to possess you. There's, one word that could have been interchanged with a lot of things there. Possess is not the word I was wanting to hear, okay? You will become my companion. Other humans will envy you, but no one will dare to cross you. My name will open any door you like. In return, you will satisfy my every whim, and I will do with you as I please. Octavia rises from the throne, the hem of her dress lifting up to reveal her elegant, slender leg. You know the history of this throne, yes? My ancestor, Shar Milanitis, used to sit here during the rebellion of Magra. Can you imagine that? Shar Milanitis made decisions that transformed the entire empire, all from this very seat. And now it's gathering dust in this vainglorious art gallery of my father's. Now, come to me, human. Octavia waits for you to do her bidding. One does not argue with an Archnean. Since the dawn of the Empire, they have taken whatever they wanted. If you refuse Octavia, daughter to the Archduke of Magra, you will insult her greatly. If you submit to this Archnean woman, if you become her plaything, everyone will know you are in the good graces of Lady Milanitis herself. As a human, what more could you possibly dream of? You recall your chance encounters with her, from the days of your youth to more recent times. What are your feelings for this exceptional Archnean lady, and what does she truly want from you? If you are willing to enter into a perilous romance with Octavia, perhaps you could do it on your own terms, returning her affections while keeping your honor. Would she defy all the traditions of old for you and recognize you as her equal, even if only in secret? That's what I was wondering too. Octavia arches her back on her father's throne and waits for you, her slender hand beckoning you closer. That would take a lot of willpower, buddy. Let's insist on being treated as her equal. Because you know what, Octavia? Baby, the one thing you loved about me was because I don't keep my mouth shut. And I think you'll like this too. You give Octavia your answer, looking her straight in the eye. You have been in love with her ever since you were young, enchanted by her beauty and grace, every chance encounter a treasured memory, and you know that this feeling is mutual. To you, there is no greater honor than Lady Octavia's affection. But you cannot sacrifice your honor as a nobleman for the sake of this love. You do not mean this as an insult. On the contrary, Lady Milanitis is far superior to you, it is true. Yet you, too, are of the noble estate, and you cannot accept humiliation, even if you must face the full extent of the Milanitis' ire. You will reciprocate Octavia's affection, not as an obedient plaything, but as a man and a noble. Your impassioned speech ends, and you steel yourself to face her wrath. But to your surprise, Octavia seems lost in thought, her eyes downcast. Nobody denies me. I'm not used to this. You are a remarkable human indeed, Beef Brante. I have noticed this ever since we first met. Your words echo in my heart. You do not follow the usual rules. Any other man would have been groveling at my feet by now. Perhaps you can be my escape from this stifling, sickening world. So be it. I choose a human as my lover, and I care little for what that aristocracy of this twin's forsaken province has to say about it. I'll take this as far as I like. But you will be safer if our affair remains a secret to the world. Now come to me, my sweet human. Skill check. Passed. You draw closer to Octavia on the throne. She reaches out for your face, caressing it gently and carefully, as though touching you human for the first time. A moment passes, and suddenly her arms wrap around your neck, and her legs lock around your torso, and she pulls you closer to her with all her might. You do not resist the Archnean's assault. Her embrace leads you to the throne. So, how do you like the seat of the great Shar Milanitis? Just a piece of wood, don't you agree? Uncomfortable too, but luckily it's spacious enough for the two of us. Octavia's ravenous lips find yours as her hands free you from your fashionable attire. her entire body shivering with excitement. You caress her skin, tender and azure. You commit her to memory, studying her, trying to understand her. Octavia's eyes are dark as the starless sky, sparkling with delight from your sweet transgression. But why does she seek this pleasure with you? Why would she humiliate her ancestors and her very dynasty by having an affair with a human? Seeing you preoccupied, Octavia gently pulls your head up by the chin. She kisses you passionately, and her lips start moving down your half-naked body. Her inhuman passion swallows you and overtakes you, until the vast throne room of the Melanitis dynasty echoes with the last of her ecstatic moans. Then there's silence, save for the sound of your heavy breathing. Octavia caresses your back slowly, then playfully pushes you off the throne. The Archneans watch you from the portraits, their faces as dispassionate as ever. Octavia returns to you at dawn, now wearing a modest black dress, her hair in a formal bun. It's time for you to leave, Beef. The Archduke will return to the castle soon. I will visit Anazot now and again. Several estates there belong to me. We will meet there, safe from prying eyes. You leave Seprenverda with your head spinning and your heart racing. The day it takes to return to Anazot passes like a single moment. When your family asks you about your visit to the Archduke, you evade the question. From that day forth, your heart aches sweetly, yearning for Octavia's letters, and when it is time for a brief tryst, the two of you disappear to one of her estates and give in to your secret passion. There are days when your love and your lover seem but an illusion, something gone forever. But soon, another note arrives and the affair continues, only to be cut short again for an unknown time. You have stolen the heart of the most beautiful and high-born Archnean lady of Magra. Only one nagging thought casts a shadow on your love. What will be the price for this insolence? So, we've grown close to Octavia Melanitis. She's sympathetic. +2, man, I think I could have been +3 had I not. No, it's whatever. That was a win-win situation for sure, because I got to earn back some of the respect of Elborn, who is basically my uncle and my boss. And still got the buns, so woo, it's a win-win. Until Otan finds out and wants to kill me for it or something, I don't know. That's probably going to be the price. Another death. You have started an affair with the daughter of the Archduke Melanitis. 1140. Brothers in misery. Your home has been much more peaceful for the last year. The fights between Stefan and Gloria are not as fierce now. But how long will this last? Your job takes up all your time. You see your parents and siblings less and less often. Sometimes you don't even know what they are doing while you deal with the constant stream of duties. This morning, you head out on urgent business. You take one step out of the gate and run into a uniformed gendarme. Captain Leonard. Interesting. Beef Brante, your presence is requested at the prefecture dungeon. Oh, that didn't last long. Taken aback, you ask what this is about. We have your brothers Stefan and Nathan Brante in a cell. They were arrested last night at the Steiner's Inn. They asked us to send for you. Unexpected. The cells in the prefecture dungeon are cold and damp. The guards lead you to the bars, and behind them you see Nathan huddled in the corner. Your younger brother is unshaven, more disheveled than usual, and reeking of wine and filth. Near the cell, you see Stefan grimly sitting in a chair. You guess that the gendarmes thought it best to not put him in the same cell as his low-born brother. Upon seeing you, Nathan lets out a whimper, and Stefan cracks a bitter smile. The sheath on your brother's belt is empty, so they've taken Stefan's sword, huh? There you are at last, Beef. Have a look at our younger brother. Yesterday he got drunk in the company of some dubious fellows. They are commoners, yet they dared to surrender to pleasure. They started a brawl, wrecked the inn, and harassed the waitresses. As soon as I heard, I rushed to save this drunkard from shame. Nathan cowers in the corner, horror struck. I walked in and demanded that Nathan come with me, but his cronies wouldn't let him go. That's not true. You just grabbed me by the collar and dragged me after you. You nearly suffocated me. Shut your mouth, cur. So, brother, they seem to have some sort of sect. They all shouted defamations against the twin gods, and one of them grabbed me by the arm. I was forced to skewer this heretic with my sword. I hope a lesser death will teach him never to lay his filthy paws on a nobleman. He was just trying to talk to you, Stefan. Silence! Then the gendarmes barged in, and here we are. I have been accused of an unlawful murder. Apparently, the new laws allow killing a commoner only if he attacks first or wields a weapon. They say that in the event of an insult, I am supposed to file a complaint with the prefecture. So now they're going to seize my sword for a whole year. What a shame. And it's all your fault, Nathan. Stefan gives the bars a furious kick. Nathan covers his face with his hands in despair. Beef, brother, you are our only hope. Get me my sword back and get us out of here, and fast. We have to bury this sordid affair as deep as we can before anyone finds out. Save our family from shame. Dang. Oh. It's like I have no good stats. It's like I have not a single good one. The only good stat I have is the one that I have outside of the game, and that's my brain. Why is that? Because I knew exactly how to play the Milonitis situation. I have to ask Father for help. Because I don't want to leave them in there because our family is already on the verge of disgrace. You tell Stefan that the only way to get them out of this mess is with Father's help. No, Beef. Father must not know about this. If he gets involved, we won't be able to avoid dishonoring the family. You coldly reply that after this incident, disgrace is inevitable. All that remains is to try and minimize the damage. Leaving your brothers, you go upstairs to your father's office. What happened, Beef? You give Father an account of the incident. He becomes more and more grim with every word you utter. Is this why I earned the judge's mantle? To get my own sons out of prison? I would have expected something like this from Nathan, but Stefan? I will not demean myself so they can avoid their punishment. You argue that in this case, the damage to your family's reputation will be far greater. Stefan will be publicly deprived of his sword, and Nathan will be sentenced to hard labor on the streets. I hate to admit it, but you're right, son. I'll have to swallow my pride and plead their case to the prefect. Stefan is his nephew, after all. Father gets an audience with his superior, Elborn. He returns downhearted, beholding the prefect's order. Together you walk down to the dungeon and present the order to the gendarmes. Stefan Brante's sword is to be returned at once. He has not broken the law and must be freed. As for Nathan Brante, you will personally cover the damages the inn has sustained. This is no reason to keep a son of a noble family behind bars. Seeing the prefect's seal, the gendarme nods obediently and returns Stefan's sword. Oh. So when Elborn does it, to bail his nephew out of jail after shanking a commoner for no reason, right? It's okay. But when I do it, to, protect my family's reputation at large and, improve our wealth situation, and then there's this big uproar how I've betrayed Elborn. Father, I knew you'd come to the rescue. I haven't really done anything shameful. Shut up. We will discuss this at home. Same thing, right? Stefan sheathes his sword reverently as Nathan is led out of the cell. The elder brother takes the younger by the scruff of his neck and pulls him to the door. Nathan staggers and shuffles along limply. The prefecture is highly displeased with the indiscreet nepotism your father took advantage of. Unsavory rumors about the Brante family creep through Azot. We are disgraced. It has finally arrived. Back home, Father lectures Stefan. Your elder brother objects and blames Nathan for everything. From now on, there will be no more drinking bouts or other nocturnal exploits, Nathan. Who are those rogues you befriended anyway? Stop shaming this family. If you're so worthless, at least let others go about their business in peace. Do you understand, you blockhead? Nathan remained silent, staring despondently somewhere above him. Oh, we're hanging on by a thread. See, and you know what this means is that now I have to hurt the commoner even more. The case of Father Mark. Your most recent year of service at the prefecture has seen an increase in litigation on crimes against the church. More and more people are joining the ranks of the new faith in Anazat. The movement began with destitute beggars who had nothing to lose, but for years now many well-off commoners and new nobles have been joining the fold. People say the leader of the new faith in Anazat is Father Leonard, the abbot of the temple at the Silver Tree. The city's leaders would love to expel him, but he is too highly regarded by the common folk. Alright, I can't maintain that. Complaints and cases of defiance of one's lot keep pouring in. Every day somebody is reported by the neighbors for heresy. Many commoners, adherents of the old faith, fear that such flagrant defiance of the lots will usher in the prophesied wrath of the gods. However, you and the other judges have no choice but to reject most of these cases. As a secular institution, the prefecture has no authority when it comes to crimes against faith. Only the church and the Inquisition have any to say here. In the middle of another busy day at the prefecture office, the door suddenly swings open. A tall gendarme wearing an officer's uniform walks in. He takes off his helmet, adjusts his short, fair hair, and bows to you hastily. Captain Linad reporting, Your Honor. My boys finally caught Father Mark, the dreaded apostate heretic. The prefect told us to take him to you for judgment. Yo, bring him in. Two gendarmes bring in a short, stout man wearing a worn, dirty priest's cassock. Priests wear the sacred symbol of the twins, a cross within a circle, but this man does not. He just sits there smoking a fat bowl. Forced to sit before you, this odd-looking priest is nonetheless strangely undisturbed by his arrest. His eyes, curious and glimmering with life, study you intently. This is him, Father Mark in the flesh. We caught him trying to preach the teachings of his smack in the middle of a drinking hole for the lowborn in the Grey District. Some guy took offense and called for the gendarmes, and we got there right away. Father Mark, you've heard the name since you were a child. His cult of rejection of the twins has expanded tenfold over the past several years, with nobles, commoners, and even the other priests joining his flock. The Inquisition has hunted this heretical apostate for years, but Father Mark has always eluded capture, until now. Some say he has powerful protectors. Here are statements from people at the establishment, Your Honor. You flip through pages of handwritten statements. Father Mark isn't just preaching, he is openly defying not only the lots, but even the twins themselves. Father Mark teaches that the gods have neither design nor purpose for us, so we are under no obligation to serve them or prepare our souls for the hereafter. You put the papers away, ready to question the profane priest. What was the subject of his sermons? What was he trying to convince his listeners to do? Father Mark prefaces his answers with a dazzling smile. As a judge, it is your duty to enforce secular law. You know as well as I do that I have broken no such law. I am a priest, my friend, and in the Empire, priests are allowed to preach. I was preaching the proper way to live one's worldly life, for this is the only existence we have. I told my listeners not to waste their lives serving those gods. The twins surely love us, but alas, their love violates us as much as their law. This entire world is proof of that. I see my words upset you, but I'm afraid you can't judge me guilty for that. Here's why. You see, mine is a priestly lot. If the judgment of the church is to be trusted, which means that only the Inquisition Tribunal may find me guilty. So you can hand me over to those black-clad thugs, but alas, you'll get absolutely nothing in return. The Inquisition wants to light their pyres in every corner of Anazat, and all they need for that is me. As soon as they get me, the Inquisitors will tell the prefectures to step aside and start enforcing the law themselves. Is that what you want, my friend? So what are you to do with me? Well, let's think about it. As a secular judge, you can't judge me guilty, but giving me to the Inquisition will weaken the prefecture. And so, my friend, everybody will be better off if you just set me free. Just an old philosopher. It's better for me, better for you, prefect, and better for you as well. Read that wrong, but whatever. Okay. Surprisingly, the gendarme captain smiles knowingly at these words. He leans over and whispers a few words into your ear. You cannot help but notice the scars all over his neck. Yeah, that looks like somebody straight up lopped his block off. You see that scar he's got on his neck? That's gnarly. Looks like something from the Nightmare Before Christmas. I say the old heretic's right, Your Honor. He's still got the priestly lot. He's the Inquisition's problem. It's too dangerous for the prefecture to meddle in churchly affairs. And strictly between you and me, if the reports I've been getting are to be trusted, this here Mark's been rubbing elbows with Patriarch Cassius himself. Letting him go might get us on his good side, and Sir Patriarch's a very wealthy man. I don't need the money. Right? I don't? But suddenly the captain's voice trails off as the door of your office opens without warning. There's a young woman at the door, clothed in a black cassock bearing the telltale silver seal of the Inquisition. Oh, well, they got here quick. I am Sister Jeanne, Your Honor. Genet? We'll go with Genet, I like that. I serve the Order of the Inquisition. The stern face, those piercing brown eyes, they seem somehow familiar. Of course, this is the young acolyte girl from the temple at the Silver Tree, the one you saw during the school visit. She is an inquisitor now. Genet, your men did well to track down and arrest Father Mark. Splendid. We've been hunting this false preacher for a long time. As I'm sure you know, priests may not be judged by secular laws, Your Honor. Mark has denigrated the twins and called for the people to reject them. He has broken his sacred vows and defied his lot. He will face the tribunal of the Inquisition for his transgressions. The man before you is a great threat to the people of Anasat, Judge Brante. His words lead people astray. His speeches doom them to eternal suffering at the foot of the pillar. Only the church knows the way to end his heresy. You will hand Father Mark over to me at once. I'm sorry, but you're Judge whom? I can say him free. Sister Genet remains in the doorway, wordlessly refusing to leave the prefecture without the captured heretic. The gendarmes and the captain stand still awaiting your orders. Father Mark is lounging in the chair, enjoying himself and eyeing you curiously, waiting for your decision on this contentious situation. Father Mark has not violated any imperial law. If the Inquisition wants him so badly, they can catch him on their own. Bingo! Because I mean, like, really though, if the prefecture arrested him and then handed him over immediately to the Inquisition, and he didn't violate any law, that kind of makes it sound like we're just an arm of, just an arm of the Inquisition. And as anybody who might be semi-familiar with the terms of liberty, what is required for that? I'll adjust my mousepad while you think and answer out loud. That's right, the separation of church and state. And if the state is just an arm for the church, there is no liberty. As much as you may agree or disagree with that, history and time has shown again and again over that, believe what you will, by any means, by all means, really. But to have your government act as a wing of your religion, liberty cannot exist in such an environment. Anyway. Then make haste, Your Honor. When it comes to protecting the faith, my order will brook no delay. The Inquisitor leaves your office clearly displeased. You are left alone in your office with Father Mark. He is still as calm as before, eyeing you, waiting for you to speak. You admit that Mark, as a priest, has not violated any imperial law with this sermon, and you are no Inquisitor, and thus not qualified to judge the truth or falsehood of his teachings. You are demonstrating a will of your own, my friend. Well done, Your Honor. This is your first step toward freedom. Yours, not mine. Your fellow judges won't understand your decision, but you mustn't let that cloud your judgment. Handing me over to the Inquisition would spark far more than a single pyre. The Inquisitors will gladly break every imperial law you have. You have protected the authority of the prefecture. Well done. Although I can't say you'll be free of this predicament anytime soon, but then again, I'm sure one of my many patrons will be happy to soften the blow with the helping of earthly boons. But we have a more pressing matter to discuss right now, don't we? You summon Captain Lenard once again and give him your instructions. Father Mark is to be taken to the prefecture jail and mysteriously disappear from his cell during the changing of the guard at night. You will close the case before then, so there will be no need for a manhunt. Lenard chuckles knowingly and sets off to follow his orders. You fill out the necessary paperwork. No violation of imperial law found, case closed. You write, then file the aborted case against Father Mark away in a box. The Inquisition learns of this only days later. Sister Janae bursts into your office beside herself with rage. You call yourself a judge after this, Sir Brante? How dare you defy the Inquisition? Protecting a heretic like Father Mark shows that you're a fool and shows you for the fool and apostate you truly are. We had him, but thanks to you, the Markian heresy will continue poisoning the souls of those whose faith is weak. Hundreds and hundreds will follow Father Mark to the foot of the pillar in the hereafter. You will be responsible for their eternal torment, Sir Brante. No, I won't. It's their choice. And rest assured, the Inquisition will not forget this. You return home, exhausted by a long day of threats and accusations. What awaits you back home, however, is a pleasant surprise. A treasure trove of fine wine straight from the cellar of Cassius, Patriarch of Magra. Your servants tell you the wine came with a letter. Sir Brante, please enjoy this wine. Savor your earthly life before the twins snatch it away as well. Father Mark. Wait a minute. Father Mark sent me wine from the cellar of Cassius Tempest? Oh no, no. Okay, never mind. I got it. Cassius, the Patriarch of... Gotcha. Okay. Kinda hard to keep track of all the names here. Ah, my career! That hit me right in the career. Jeez! My wealth is maxed out. Chutes and ladders. This event is a sequence of your previous actions. That's great. Conditions met. Careers equal to or less than 2. Alright, we're gonna go through this situation and then I'm gonna end it right there. Chutes and ladders. News of your latest action spreads rapidly across Anazat. You have made many enemies during your years as a judge, and now is their chance to strike. Your career is hanging by a thread. You have to fight off accusations, denouncements, and slander just to retain your position. A quiet knock at the door interrupts your musings. The imposing figure of Judge Carlos Falkengraben solemnly floats into your office. We hardly ever see each other these days, Brante. I have decided to pay you a visit, with the most cordial of intentions, of course. I've been hearing everywhere that things are not going well for you. So I asked myself the question, how could a man of your talents quarrel with almost all of Anazat High Society? I'm sure you are simply misguided, but worry not, I will show you the way. Many judges see you as a threat. They think that your daring rulings are putting the entire prefecture in danger. Let's examine your latest case. For instance, its outcome enraged all the nobility of the city. But I know you aren't what they say you are. The others need to see how much you care for your colleagues and our institution. Take my advice, Beef. Don't forget that it is the judge's job to maintain law and order among the estates, not destroy it. Admit your error and reconsider at least some of your past decisions in favor of the nobility. Do this, and I assure you, society will come to see you as a respectable nobleman and a wise judge once again. Do not emulate our prefect. You know that I hold Elborn in the highest esteem, but between you and me, he's on the edge of a precipice, and he's dragging you down with him. Promise me you'll think about what I've said, Brante. I am only considering your well-being. I care about the career of a promising judge like you. Falkengraben takes a bow and leaves as silently as he came. You reread your latest cases, lost in thought. This is what has turned high society against you. Your enemies' schemes are preventing you from continuing your work. You need to find a way out of this situation. Refuse to give in. You will continue to fight for justice and the rights of the common people. I'm just gonna ask my father for help. Because I think Falkengraben is a piece of crap. The guy can't be trusted. So any advice he's got, I generally need to disregard. You walk swiftly to your father's office. No matter what happens, he will always come to your aid. The conversations begin awkwardly. You tell him about your latest rulings, the enemies you have made, and the pressure from Falkengraben and those like him. Will he help you out of your difficulty? Having carefully listened to your account, Father frowns. You are in dire straits indeed. You know that I will always be on your side, but now you've gone too far. It's my fault too, Beef. It's time we got you out of this mess. Our family has still managed to build a reputation over the past few years. I'll arrange meetings with some important noblemen and plead your case. Like predatory beasts, they will smell our vulnerability. As soon as you ask for a favor, you become not only a debtor, but also a prospective victim. But we have no choice. Otherwise, you will lose your position as judge. But promise me, son, that from now on, you will be more cautious and refrain from making more enemies for our family. You're sure, Father, that you will do your utmost. Then you awkwardly thank him for his help. He pats you on the shoulder in response and picks up his quill pen. Letters, entreaties, and humiliating visits await him. Ouch. Well, at least we got another diplomacy point. It needs to be at least 12, I would say. Somewhere between 12 and 13, because that was the range there. Family of means. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. The family in ruins? Yeah, well, check this out. Our wealth is maxed out right now. Over the past few years, your family has grown wealthy beyond imagination. Whatever money you had, you took good care of and made more. All thanks to your uncanny aptitude for profit. The word hardship is long forgotten at home. Whatever luxury you crave, you can afford it. The entire city knows that the Brante family is an affluent one. It is late in the evening on a sultry summer day. The sun has set, but the heat still lingers in the garden. Father slowly measures the porch with his steps, striding from one corner to the other. My son, look how we've prospered. If you ask me, we Brontes have grown too used to our humble way of life. We don't have to be thrifty anymore. Let us invest our wealth in the family. We won't run out of money anytime soon. You've done so much to ensure our prosperity, son. It's only fair for you to decide where we should invest our fortune. You cast a glance over the family estate, thinking, how will you spend your wealth? Yup. Yeah, we needed to host a gala bad. It is time the noble families of Anazat learned of the extent of the Bronte's prosperity. You suggest to Father that the family should host a grand party for the entire city. At last, we have the money to afford a luxurious gala that will satisfy even the most demanding tastes. A gala of our own? Excellent idea, my son. Money comes and goes, but the memory of a great gala will endure. And so you begin your preparations. Money and effort are no object. Soon, the most esteemed nobles of Anazat receive the invitations. marvels of calligraphy on delicate perfumed paper. Your family estate is too small and humble to provide for every guest, so you rent a country manor from an old noble dynasty and hire an army of servants to whip it into shape, prepare the feast, and serve the guests. The gala is immaculate, splendid, perfect. With a smile, you watch the city's nobles dazzled and awed by your work. All this majesty afforded by a humble family of the mantle. The night ends with your pride and joy, a marvelous, colorful fireworks display. It illuminates the sky above Anazat like a miracle. Father was right. This gala will not soon be forgotten by the city of Anazat. Okay, so we spent a little bit of that money. Well, I mean, -2. You know, it would have been nice if it was like 1 for 1, you know? But, let's see what I can get. Brante family becomes known throughout the city for its wealth. All right. So now that we've, excuse me, now that we've moved on another year here. Now is probably a good time to stop this here because, yes, there's an Illyrian commoner revolt. And we will, yeah, we'll stop it right there. We'll pick up here next time, which I believe next time would be next Wednesday for this game. So we're gonna slow down the pace at which we stream this game. But we don't have really a whole lot left, I'm thinking, because I'm willing to bet that this is the lead up to Chapter 5, and Chapter 5 is the final chapter. But yes, I still thoroughly enjoy this game. I can't wait till the Prince Jerian game comes out. Prince Jerian, rather, and if you remember that name, you know exactly who that is. Aside from that, the games that will be replacing this one, once we're done with it, this is kind of like thinking ahead here. I'm thinking that it's gonna be Kingdom Come Deliverance. It is gonna be our next playthrough Wednesday games. So, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 got delayed, so we have plenty of time to get through it. So I'm thinking the once a week stream for that would be suitable. But yes. And then check the schedule on the channel page to see what else I have planned. Tomorrow it says that there's going to be a stream at 9 p.m. However, there may very well be a stream of something at around 7:30. I don't think I'll be waking up before 6. I might. I don't know. Well, we'll see. Besides, it's a game that's super different from this one, so if you like to watch this one, you might not necessarily enjoy that one. But yes, we are getting there, back into the full swing of things. Because really, in my mind, everything, the 50-something hours of streaming that I've done so far in the last month it's just the beginning. It's not really just the beginning per se, because I mean, as you can see on my channel, I have VODs on there from 5 years ago, but 5 or 6 years ago, but this is the beginning of the restart for this channel. I'm still pondering ways. I'm taking a whole new approach to it, really, because I don't want to overcomplicate things. That and my taste in games has shifted a bit. As I'm sure you've been able to tell, my shortness of patience with the squad, for example. Meanwhile, my infatuation with this game, you know, it's all changed a lot. I've changed a lot, and I'm continuing to change. But I'm really hoping that you guys stick around for the ride, and I hope that this channel is a part of that change. So I don't know. It's a good time. It's a really good time. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Yeah, if you wanna, don't forget, this game will be streaming next Wednesday at 9 p.m. So, I'll be here. Hope to see you there too.